Who reads Sword and Sorcery? Hail, savages! The notion that Sword and Sorcery is men's fiction is a spicier subject than I originally anticipated. When I previously put out my video, Amazon is hiding Sword and Sorcery, I had some people agree and others disagree, some vehemently. The demographic focus of mainstream or old pub, the term I prefer, got a lot of attention on Twitter, X, whatever, recently, when fellow writer and friend of the channel, John Douglas, here's his book, The Black Crown, because of course I'm going to shill for him. I'm going to leave links below for it. Pick it up. Anyway, John took a quick trip through the fantasy books section at a Target, and whoo boy, that blew up. It's at about 28 million views as of now. It's crazy. And he points out that female coded works don't just dominate, they almost exclude male authors, except for, for who? Like Legends and Lattes. Lee Child, Brandon Sanderson, a very small number of very big male authors that, of course, those are big guys you can't not have on the shelves. Detractors quickly pointed out that, hey, it's a Target, meaning that Target is a women's space. Well, okay, bookstores are much the same. Target's selection isn't very far off from what we see in Amazon's top 100s in Sword and Sorcery, so don't at me. So who is reading Sword and Sorcery? It's an important question for authors. Younger audiences, I think, are pulled in by the charismatic anti-hero who ultimately does the right thing, and the action and the violence used by the main character against those who are tyrannizing him. Older audiences like the theme of individual strength and freedom, responsibility, and the consequences thereof, which is an undertone of my Skarde, the Wandering Sword series. And yeah, I'm going to show that right here. Here we go. Pick them up on Amazon. Citadel of Seven Swords and Weird of the Skull Totem. You have to shill. If you're an indie author, you have to shill. No one's going to do it for you. Of course, the quick pace, adventure, and strange and mysterious worlds that appear in Sword and Sorcery fiction appeals to everyone, I think. I think of my ideal reader as maybe in his 20s, but without an analysis of my audience on social media and who has bought my book, I can't really say. Solid data isn't really even present, and I would still be stuck guessing. But from the interactions I've had, those interested in what I do have a big age range from 20 to who knows. Greetings, mortals! You are watching the Eric Wag channel. You will like, share, and subscribe. So it is written! In Sword and Sorcery, the MC struggles with exterior forces, although a few moments of brooding are acceptable. Elric doing that more often than Conan. The action plot, the external struggle, the use of cunning and violence, combined appeal more to the male spirit. There is much less introspection, less emphasis on relationships and interpersonal development, and rarely a you had the power in you all along moment. These appeal more to the female spirit, I think, and it's not that these never happen in Sword and Sorcery, but I can't recall when that was the focus of the whole story. And yeah, I know all of these are controversial statements, if you want them to be, but there's no hard data to go off of. And I wish I could find some. Looking at my YouTube channel. Okay. Here's my viewership by age. And it's not too far off of what I expected. I wish there were more 18 to 24-year-olds, but I get it. I'm a boring, old, grizzled Gen X, and there's much more of the older demographic than I expected. Now, here's my viewership by gender. That's not unexpected. Ladies, you're at about 2.5%. I'm sure that at least 3 women have read my first book. There might be more out there. Hope so. So, 2.5% checks out. It's funny that this is in line with the percentages that Gary Gygax estimated as the number of women RPG fans back in the day. That number has changed, but how much it's changed is a controversial thing as well. And I wouldn't listen to a word that people at Wizards of the Coast say, let alone trust their stats. When I played D&D regularly a decade ago, 3 out of the 8 people at the table were women, and that was a fun table. I bring this up because fantasy RPGs and sword and sorcery have a symbiotic relationship, and they point at the same thing. Well, that's something, and I don't want to make this video all about D&D, so I'll move on here. Another indicator, and Mr. Miller, the fine editor over at Savage Realms Monthly, and I got another opportunity to shill, so I'm going to take it. Here we go. Here are some fine copies of Savage Realms Monthly. Go check them out. I'm going to leave a link below, of course. I'm not getting paid for any of these, by the way. I just want to talk about things that I like. So, all right, where was I? So Mr. Miller sent me this infographic. I'll put it up right here with the age and gender breakdown of his magazine's Facebook page. Again, us grognards dominate, as in all things. Women make up as little as 7% of membership. Well, okay, men. Are you ready to join the He-Man Woman Haters Club?
What do you say if we form a new club and call it the He-Man Woman Haters Club?
I know I'm going to get bit on the ass on that one. If I ever get onto CNN, that's going to be the clip. Thanks. It's a joke, people. But few people will deny that military sci-fi is men's fiction. And in my mind, sword and sorcery is almost as heavily skewed. Not necessarily as much, but close. I'll say this, although I know it's almost useless to do so. There are women who read sword and sorcery. There are women who write sword and sorcery, and they do a great job. In this new pub environment, please, for the love of Odin, read what you want. Okay, don't read what you're told, read what you want. This is one of my favorite memes here. I have zero interest in pushing women out. This is a weird straw man. It's a total fabrication. I'm going to keep writing fiction the way I want, with male readers in mind. And if a woman wants to buy and read anyway, awesome. Read what you want. And by the way, I will read fiction by women. It's never been an issue. I didn't intend this video to be an academic study, and I couldn't really find any solid stats on who reads sword and sorcery. But if you have solid, verifiable stats on the demographics of sword and sorcery, let me know. I would love to have a look at them. Anyway, feathers ruffled. Whoa! Go have a matcha. Cheers, everyone. And read what you want.